All right, guys, welcome back into another episode of To The Show Baseball Podcast presented by Beyond the Monster. I am your host, Andrew Parker, and today's episode, we are diving back into the Miami Marlins organization. I got Karson Milbrandt on, who just finished off his 2025 season in Double-A. He had one of his best starts of his year the other day. So he's about to enter into an offseason where he is going to be participating in the AFL for the Marlins. And so we do talk about that. We talk about his good year this year. Obviously, he's still young at 21 years old. And we dive into, some things that he's going through this offseason. But before I get any further here, whether you're watching me on YouTube right now, listen to me on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, wherever it is you get your podcasts, please like and subscribe. It helps me a ton. Making a push on YouTube right now. So I appreciate any and all subscriptions there. And it is totally free to do so. But without further ado, let me shoot you on to the interview with Karson Milbrandt. All right, I am joined by Karson Milbrandt, and Carson's coming off of a start the other night. When this is posted, it will be on the 11th, so you had a start on the 9th. That was one of your better starts of the year, and even in your short Double-A tenure so far. But that's exactly where I want to kind of start. Obviously, you had a pretty good year in 2025, and you finished it off there in Double-A. Can you kind of just walk me through what the last couple weeks have been like since you did get promoted? I know that was fairly recent, but what has everything been like since getting called up?
Yeah, past couple of weeks have been really good. I've been filling up the zone. Arm feels really good. Body feels good. Mind's in a really good spot. But, yeah, it's kind of been a roller coaster. You get moved up. It's obviously part of the process that everyone wishes that they can experience, So getting moved up to Double-A, that's when stuff kind of gets serious. And, it's, you got to pitch better competition. So kind of got to elevate your game. And I feel like that's what I'm doing.
Yeah, and I realize too that, obviously a lot of these guys that, obviously once you go up levels, it does get, the hitters get more disciplined and things like that. But yeah, I know you're probably familiar with some guys that you'll be facing over your Double-A career from in High A. But for yourself on the transition, have you noticed anything? Has there been have you not been able to get away maybe with a certain pitch like you could at a lower level? Have you noticed anything like that?
I think if you just get behind, it's way easier for the hitters to hit. You stay ahead, you mix in your stuff, you're gonna compete. So,
okay, yeah, I figured I'd ask because obviously you're used to some of the guys you were facing in the High A, facing now in Double-A, so it's not new guys. But obviously once you get up to Triple-A, it's a whole new ball game because you're facing a lot of vets. But all right, so I did want to, obviously I talked to you about getting promoted and what that's like. I know it's a very small sample size, but your 2025 as a whole, you're 21 years old, which I had to double check to make sure, you're 21 and in Double-A. I think that's, I don't know if you've ever seen on Baseball Reference before where it says the age difference of the level. You're over 3.5 years younger than the average person in Double-A. So for you being so young, I guess what kind of things have you taken from this year and getting to where you are? I guess looking back at it now, what have you thought about your year?
Yeah, obviously a pretty good year. For me, it was just always the stuff was always there, but it's kind of just landing in the zone, keeping it in the zone and then doing it the entire game. So basically this year, we just kind of been, if I do miss, it's going to work off the miss. I added that gyro, which has been huge for me this year, just to have something I can always throw in the zone. So, yeah, just kind of working off the misses. And if you look at we looked at a couple things where it's if I'm in the shadow zone or just anywhere in the zone, I dominate versus when I have those uncompetitive misses, it's just not good for anybody. So just kind of cutting those out and then just filling it up pretty much.
Yeah, and something that did strike out too, I kind of just, mentioned that, you are still so young and you're a little over 3 years now into your professional journey since you joined professional baseball. Is affiliate ball everything you kind of thought it would be? I mean, by now you've kind of got the hang of it. You've been to a few spring trainings. You've done some off seasons. Your off season, this off season is going to be a little different. We'll get into that next. But what have you learned so far about yourself in professional baseball?
I'm not really. I mean, I think it's obviously affiliate ball is pretty cool, but you kind of you said with the age stuff. Some of the guys that you your first year, you're okay, this guy was in college for 5 years, so they run a little tighter ship. So I think it's just kind of learning from those guys where it's maybe like my first year, I'm trying to find a routine that works for me. It's kind of trial and error. You know, you talk to the guy and he's like, oh yeah, I did this, this, and this. You try it and it works. And it's like, okay. And then you pick another guy's brain. So I think that's what's really important about definitely like the lower levels of affiliate ball is just kind of like learning what works for you, how you operate, how you can take care of yourself. And then now in kind of double A, it's like you got your routine, you got something you can rely on versus just like, you know, I feel like it's just kind of like growing up. It's kind of like college. You know, you learn. It's like freshman year, you learn, and then by the time you're junior, senior year, third or fourth year in affiliate ball, you know, you got a pretty good routine and got something to lean on.
Was that tough being an 18-year-old and starting your professional career when you did? You know, first, maybe it was one of the first times you've been away from home for a long period of time. I feel like that's something that's like super, I guess, undervalued or just not talked about enough is how, like, you know, guys like yourself who come straight out of high school and, you know, whenever everybody else was 18, like, you know, I remember when I was 18, I was a little freshman at Mizzou and I was just like, I couldn't be making decisions for myself like you probably had to when you were 18. So was that kind of difficult to, you know, just balance a little bit of like, hey, miss the family, miss my friends, but I got to do this?
Yeah, definitely. Like, you know, I'm making a lot of phone calls home to the boys, my family, my girlfriend, but it's definitely a good balance. I think about like my draft class was a bunch of good guys. So it was honestly super fun to hang out with them where it's like, they don't really allow you to make the stupid decision, you know, like they've been there. They're like, hey, dude, what are you doing? So it's a really good group of guys. So I was really, really lucky with that.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I do want to dive into something, obviously, that I just mentioned. You know, you are going to be part of the Arizona Fall League contingency, which is, I think, a little over a month away. It's kind of sneaking up on us now.
Yeah.
But, you know, you are going to be able to take place in what I think is one of the, you know, the cooler leagues around. I mean, I know the Cape League is like very good for college hitters, but Arizona Fall League, man, I find it incredible. Obviously, all the best competition goes down there around minor league baseball. So for yourself, or what are you looking forward to the most about your AFL experience?
Yeah, just getting the opportunity to compete against those guys, you know, it's a bunch of the top guys, like you said. So just seeing, you know, where my stuff plays with them and being able to compete with them.
Was that something that was on, like, is that something going into the year? It's like it's on your radar. I know the team obviously is the one that chooses at the end of the day, but is that something that whenever they brought it up to you, you're like, I would love to, or is that like, did it just come as a surprise?
Yeah, no, they brought it up to me like about probably a month and a half ago. And I was like, yeah, like I'm there. Like, you give me the green light, I'm there. Just let me know.
Yeah, there's some statistic out there, and I don't know if it's changed a lot over the years, but I remember it was either a year or two ago. It was like 80+% of the guys that go play in Arizona Fall League ended up making their MLB debut. So
Yeah.
it is obviously one of the better leagues for the guys in the minors to be going to.
Right.
So obviously your off season is going to be a little shortened due to playing in the AFL. Do you have any plans for, you know, after AFL ends, you going back home? Like what does it look like for you? I guess just trying to plan ahead.
Honestly, right now we have no idea. I have no idea. I have no idea how many innings I'm throwing there, what the workload's going to be. So it's like, once we figure that out, obviously we'll have a pretty structured plan. But as of right now, I just have a vacation to Cabo.
Oh, okay.
So, but other than that, you know, I think I'm not sure what I'm going to be doing.
Okay.
Probably a little bit at home, but for the main part, I think I'll be in Jupiter, which is where our spring training's at. So,
Do you where do you still call Missouri home? Is that where you go back to? Like, say you weren't going to the fall league and you were going back home. Is it still Missouri?
Yeah, KC.
Okay.
Yep.
So you have a good like training facility out there in Kansas City?
Yep.
So what does that look like? Because so I grew up in the St. Louis area. I know a lot of the pro guys that go back and train in St. Louis, and I know there's like a big contingency of I grew up on the east side of St. Louis where they call them the 618 crew.
Mm-hmm.
They all go to the same place. There's guys from the Blue Jays, the Tigers. Like there's a bunch of guys. What does yours look like at your training facility?
We have a couple guys like a lot of the younger guys, like Trey. I don't know if you know who Trey Snyder is. He's with the Mets. We got him, a couple other guys, but just a good group. Good gym. I can get in there when it's not too busy. So just getting after with those guys. It's pretty fun.
So what can you tell the people about the prep baseball scene in Kansas City? What was that like? I feel like I feel like Missouri is always a little slept on. I will be honest. I know there's tons of pro guys, obviously, from the state, but what was it like, I guess, in the Kansas City area?
Yeah, so honestly, I kind of got thrown into the fire. My freshman year, we had a guy named Carter Rustad. He was in our like conference, but he ended up going to Mizzou actually.
Yep.
Yeah, he was pumping like 97 in our district championship game. So that was like the first time I saw like 40 scouts in the stands. I was like, oh crap, like it's kind of cool. And then my junior year, we had Carter Jensen, who's debuted with the Royals. Same story where he's hitting. You're facing him now. It's not like you're a freshman on the bench anymore. You're like, oh gosh. And then senior year is kind of my year, and I'm just a decent amount of scouts. So I'd say definitely slept on, but there's some good ball down there. There's some good guys.
So if you don't mind me asking, where were your college offers from? Like, was that a tough decision for you to skip out on that and go pro, or what was that process like?
Yeah, so you're actually gonna like this. My junior year actually committed to Mizzou. I was gonna go to Mizzou.
I love and hate it because obviously you never got to put on the uniform, but I do love that.
Yeah, and then I didn't hear from him for like 8 months. I committed, they didn't text me, nothing. And then we went state my junior year, and like I just got a text from him like, "Hey Karson, like fill this out if you want to come to a camp." And I was just like,
It's
"Gosh,
tough.
hey, like I think I'm gonna go a different route." Like I started throwing like 94. It was my baseball pitching coach. His name's Sean Markham. If you know who that is, he had a pretty good career in the bigs, but he's good boys with Tony Vitello. So Tony Vitello is ringing his line, like, get me on the phone with this guy. So, but so my first go around is kind of like smaller schools or like Mizzou, Missouri State, still good schools, but like not like the top dogs. And then my second go around after I decommitted was like Vandy, Tennessee, Texas, all those schools.
Okay. Yeah, I always like asking just to see, like, you always play that alternate universe game where you're like, an alternate universe, I did go to college and this was how it played out. But I think you're in a very good spot and you chose the right way. So I don't think you have any regrets on that. Which, by the way, though, no, I was going to say, Mizzou did just hire a really good pitching coach. I know it's a few years after your time, but Drew Dickinson coming over from Virginia is hopefully, fingers crossed, going to help that program. But
yeah, my boy's actually he's the bullpen catcher from Mizzou.
Okay.
So every time I visit, I'll throw on the field and stuff. But
yeah, I don't know. They need all the help they can get over there, man. And it's that is a wild story that you kind of had about not hearing from them. But all right, so switching it up a little bit here. So every Monday in minor league baseball, you have an off day. And let's just say this off day, you weren't traveling somewhere, you weren't on a bus ride, any of that. So you're at home, you got a home series that week. So you have all the time on Monday. What are you doing with that free time?
Yeah, so honestly, my first love was basketball. I love basketball, but obviously I started throwing on Tuesdays after All-Star break, so I couldn't really do this anymore. But when I threw on like Friday and Saturday, I would go hoop and get some shots. Yeah. We had a good group of guys, so I'd go put some shots up. It'd be super fun. But if I'm not doing that, I'm probably playing some video games, maybe watching a movie, hanging out with the guys. My girlfriend, she'll come into town every once in a while, but pretty laid back guy. I don't really do much. Maybe some golf, but
I was about to ask you, you're a pitcher in minor league baseball, and you didn't say golf.
Yeah, I'm cracking 100 now, so I'm like not terrible, but some of the guys on the team they're pretty legit. So like I'm not the top cut guy. We have probably like 5 or 6 guys that go out every Monday. I'm not that tier yet where I can like get into that group, but if there's some guys that aren't as good that want to go out, I'll go golf with them.
Okay. Yeah, I actually just spoke with Will Schomburg the other day.
That guy is unbelievable at golf.
He was talking up a big golf game for himself, so I'm curious if he was one of those guys.
He's one of those guys. Yeah, he's unbelievable.
Okay. Yeah, he was we were kind of talking about the golf scene up in Wisconsin, and he thinks it's very slept on. He said that the golf scene up, obviously when it warms up a little bit, but he thinks it's better in Florida, but I know you have a lot of options out there.
Yeah, it's a hot take, but it is pretty good. It's a good golf game up there.
Okay. Yeah. I was, you were going through that and I'm like, man, this guy's not going to say golf. And, I've been in tons of clubhouses around. All the pitchers have their golf clubs out. If you were a hitter, I kind of understand it, but no,
Yeah.
you're definitely golfing.
Yeah.
So obviously spending a lot of time in Jupiter, it's a lot different than Missouri, especially if you get there, around January and February going into spring training. What kind of things have you missed the most about, from home, just being on the road? Like, is there like any restaurants that you miss? Like, obviously other than family and friends, like, have you missed anything about the area itself? Like, I can't go to my favorite fast food chain because it's not here or something like that. Is there anything like that for you?
Yeah, there's a place in Liberty. It's called Longboards.
Okay.
I don't know if that's like a chain or not, but I have not found one outside of Liberty. And
What is it?
it's like a Hawaiian wrap. And it
Interesting.
is
Okay.
so good. It's like it's kind of like a replacer for Chipotle. It's like that kind of vibe where it's like a lot of calories and like good food. But
Okay.
yeah, went there all the time in high school. I still go there like if I'm home, probably 2-3 times a week. It's so good.
Yeah, no, I feel you because one of my things, obviously living out in Northeast and a little over the country, it's like the one I miss Zaxby's the most. Like, and I know that's not like a St. Louis thing, but it's a Columbia, Missouri thing that's where I fell in love with it. And
Right.
I can't it's not in the Northeast anywhere.
Yeah,
So
can't find it.
no, I had to go down when I was at spring training. I go down there for a couple weeks, and they were all over Florida, so I was very very lucky to find those. All right, one question left for you here, and I will let you slide. Obviously, you have a very busy offseason ahead of you with the AFL. But besides the AFL, do you have any goals in mind? Do you want to hit this offseason? Whether it's like, do you want to get to a certain velo next year? Do you want to do this? Like, what is in store for yourself? Like, what kind of goals do you want to accomplish by the end of the offseason?
Yeah, I mean, you can always, throw harder, get stronger, tighten up the breaking balls. But right now, I'm just really focused on attacking the fall league. And, I'm going to take it one step at a time. So going to dominate that and then go from there.
Yeah, I love that answer. Definitely not overlooking what's ahead with those hitters you will be facing. But Karson, I appreciate all the time. Obviously, wishing you the best of luck in the AFL and then towards the rest of your offseason. But thank you so much for hopping on.
Yeah, thanks for having me, man.